Hey Luna, what's up? What are you thinking about at the moment? Or do you even always think? What is there inside of you? Can you tell me about it? I was wondering, and now I just needed to ask you. Oh, how nice of you that you are asking me all of those questions. But can you make it maybe a little bit more specific? I was wondering, what have you learned on this planet Earth? How do the people over here feel and how do they cope with their life, and how do you cope with your life actually? Maybe that would be the most specific question. That's a big question. I'm not really thinking about how I should answer it, but I'm still trying to catch up with my inner voice who wants to answer you that. So, how do I cope with my life? You want to know how I cope with my life? So, it's actually something I don't really want to say because it doesn't feel good. But the answer is I don't know how I cope with my life. I just do what I do without really thinking about it, without really knowing if that's right or if it's wrong. I just live because the living, how I experienced living, is just doing bullshit, just doing whatever you feel like you want to do and then try to correct your mistakes because other people told you this wasn't good, and then trying to fit in. Because as a human being, I want to belong to the group and I don't want other people to not like me or push me away. So I'm scared, or I was scared when I grew up here, that other people don't like me. So I started to learn how I can fit in, and I wasn't even being myself. So I was coping my whole life trying to be someone I am not. And in the last 2 years, I started to ask myself who I actually am. Not who I want to be, but who I am. What's inside me. Not what's outside me. All those voices telling me what's good, what's bad, how a woman should behave or be. And then I started to break rules. To break rules you're supposed to not break. Because it's bad when you do that. And everyone will show you that you're kind of weird and you don't belong to this planet, or you don't belong to the group of human beings who are good. So I started my inner growth and also my hair growth. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but my hair is growing since 2020, I think. So since 3 years now. And also these hairs are growing. Not as long though. Started maybe half a year ago, 8 months ago. Not sure. But it doesn't matter. So when I go in the supermarket and I'm wearing a short shorts. I'm wearing shorts. And a man comes by, this actually happened, and looks down at my legs, and then he looks up in my face, and then I went past him, and then he turned and looked, and my boyfriend was with me, and after that he was like, did you see that man? And I was like, yeah, I saw him. And this is normal. So as a human being, when you try to fit in, when you not try to fit in, you will feel that you don't belong there where you are. Because those other people who will look at you, they are people who are also trying to fit in. So this is one really interesting thing I learned in this life. So how am I coping with that? Well, actually, by now, I don't really care, or it gives me actually the feeling of being on the right track. Because when others don't like what I do, but I feel it doesn't matter, then it's a good sign, I would say. So this is one thing how I cope with my life. Giving a fuck, sorry for that word, on other people's opinions. Or actually trying to do that. It's not that I would always give a, but I try to. At least from those you don't really know. But actually, coping with my life has been pretty hard, pretty harsh, pretty mean. I'm like pretty mean to myself. And I watched myself, or I actually heard myself talking to myself with really mean words and not really being nice to myself. And often people think about, okay, so how does my behavior affect others? But we often miss asking ourselves, how does my behavior affect myself? And how does my speech to myself affect the feelings I'm feeling? Yeah. And it's often really, really hard for me to accept that I'm a mess, or that it feels like a mess at the moment. But there always has to be a mess before there is an order. And it's a process. And there's always mess, and then there's order again. And then there's again mess, and then there's again order. So it's like I'm renewing my skin, but I'm renewing my inner self. And it's like every day, every week, and every month I feel better. But it doesn't mean I feel like more happy and more, yay, everything's all right, everything's good. No, that's not what I mean with better. But I mean, I feel myself more and more, and I feel deeper. I feel deeper the sadness, the grief, but I feel also deeper the love and the connection to other people. And for me, both of these feelings and all the feelings, when you feel them deeper, you feel more alive. And when I feel really, really sad, I actually feel pretty alive. Because in my childhood, I really, really often didn't feel a thing. I didn't feel anything. So that was like being dead, but being alive. But I didn't feel being alive. I only felt an emptiness. And I only heard what my voice was like trying to, like my voice or my mind was trying to make me function and make me do the things I should do to fit in. And I still have lots of those Verhaltensweisen. Missing the word. Doesn't matter. It will be here. Still have lots of those. But it's okay. And I learned to accept that, and to accept that it's a process. So I'm ready for the next question.